Protein! That's basically what all my dreams sound like. Thanks for joining, everyone. Josh here, and I am pumped to continue our nutrition series, where we break down and learn about each macronutrient. Last month's nutrition video was all about carbs, and if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go check it out. As usual, we're going to dive into what a protein is, how our body utilizes this macronutrient, as well as look at the single most common question I'm asked when it comes to protein. So let's get started. It's hard to believe I made a willing choice to be a vegan all those years ago. 18 months of meatless eating only to come to the realization that, wait a second, I live in Alaska. I have endless amounts of moose, salmon, and halibut. Why wouldn't I eat meat? Now, that's not to hate on vegans. I actually had a lot more energy and probably got the best sleep of my life while being a vegan. But trying to eat 3,000 calories was exhausting. Now, wait, where did that? Oh yeah, protein. Proteins are composed of amino acids, and these are often referred to as the building blocks of life. Now, if you don't know what an amino acid is, well, don't worry, because it really doesn't matter. Amino acids are basically just a bunch of chemicals like carbon, hydrogen, sulfur, oxygen, etc. Now, keep in mind, most of what we're going to cover is fairly generic. There are two important things to know when it comes to the science of protein. The first is that protein is composed of 20 amino acids. Think of it as like 20 little beads on a string. And the other important part is that our body can only produce 11 of them. These are referred to as non-essential amino acids, meaning that we need to get the other 9 from different food sources. These are called the essential amino acids. This is where we have two types of protein. The first is called a complete protein, and that refers to foods that actually contain the 9 amino acids that our body can't produce on its own. Pretty much any animal product is considered a complete protein, so meats, egg, dairy, they're all complete proteins. The one exception would be gelatin, but if you're eating Jell-O as a source of protein, then we might have some bigger issues to deal with. Some plant-based sources of protein would be quinoa, soybeans, and hemp seed. Now, the second part is an incomplete protein. These are food sources that don't contain the 9 amino acids that our body can't produce. Incomplete proteins are really only an issue for vegans and vegetarians, as the average person eats a fair amount of animal products. The really cool thing is that you can actually make complete proteins by combining food together, such as nuts and grains. So for an example, if you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, combining the peanut butter with the bread makes a complete protein. Our bodies use these proteins for just about everything. Protein has so many roles in our body that it would take quite a while to list them all. But all this information comes together to a term that you might have heard before called protein synthesis. Now, protein synthesis is where your cells arrange those 20 amino acids in a certain way to create a protein that carries out a specific task, i.e., transporting nutrients, communication, hormone balance, or muscle repair, to name a few. If you don't have all 20 of the amino acids, there are certain tasks that your body can't carry out efficiently. Here's an example to hopefully make things a little more clear. So for our example with proteins and amino acids, I have some peanut M&Ms here. Now, the colors represent the different chemicals or different amino acids that make up a protein, and there are less than 20 here, but this is just for the sake of clarity. Now let's take a look at your body trying to build a protein for muscle repair, since we're kind of focused on working out. Let's say, for example, that muscle repair requires 2 yellows, 2 oranges, and a blue. Well, the problem is that if you're not eating complete proteins, then your body won't have all the amino acids it needs to create the protein for muscle repair. So long story short, make sure you're eating complete proteins so that your body has all the resources it needs to perform the tasks that it wants to do. Hopefully that example made protein and amino acids a little more clear. Now that we have an idea of what protein is, the big question is, what role does protein play in our fitness journey? Well, it's mostly twofold. The first is that protein is great for weight loss. It's only 4 calories per gram. But what's super cool is that our bodies have so many uses for protein that it's gonna look for energy from pretty much any other source it can find. This leads protein to making you feel fuller for a longer period of time. So if you're looking to lose weight, you wanna have protein be a big part of your diet. I usually suggest 1 gram per pound of body weight as a starting point, and then you can adjust up or down as needed. Personally, I sit around 1.25 grams per pound of body weight, but when I was cutting for my last physique show, it was all the way up to 1.5. Each person's a little bit different, so pay attention to how your body responds. Now, the second part is that our bodies use protein to build and repair any damaged muscle. If you're exercising really at all, your muscles are going to be put under strain and tension. This is going to cause mini tears in your muscles, and our body needs protein to build the strength of those muscles back up. This is how our muscles become stronger and more resilient to the same amount of strain. Hands down, the most common question I'm asked in regards to protein is what to do with protein shakes, or what brand should we buy? What protein shakes are best? Overall, it doesn't matter. I mean, unless you're competing at a national bodybuilding level, any protein shake will do. Just look at the nutrient label. Make sure that the shake isn't loaded with sugar. I'd say try and find protein shakes that have less than 10 grams of sugar and less than 5 grams of fat. As I said before, what matters is making sure you're consuming complete proteins to get those amino acids that your body can't create on your own. And the second is to make sure you're hitting your calorie and macro goals with protein. If you're looking for ideas of where to find good protein sources, I've put a list together for you in the description below with grams per ounce for each food. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you all have a joy-filled, blessed week, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Boom.